How do we create anything? How do we turn a thought into a thing? By what strange medicine, magic, or mechanism are we, rare among the heavens, able to reach across that ephemeral membrane into infinite potentiality and pull our ideas into the real? I mean, how do we even know what to do? How do we know anything for certain? How do we know what we know? How we distinguish a simple opinion from a justified belief? You see, we dwell behind the walls of this edifice of mind and heart made by the bricks of stories we've been told and the experiences that we've lived. We know what we know, well, because we just do. From the time we're small, we are made from the stories we believe. And this brings us to the first universal law of creativity, belief. This incredibly powerful force is our topic for today. My name is Dave Zabosky. I'm a former Disney animator during the second golden age of animation, and I'm the Chief Creative Officer at Lytro.com. You can see the spelling of it right down here, or maybe it's probably right. It's probably right here somewhere. We're a curated collective of elite creatives servicing companies with best-in-class design services. And this is the Divine Line, where we explore that ineffable thread of creativity and story that connects all of us to life and creation across time, space, and consciousness. Because believing is a kind of alchemy. It's got a bit of science and a bit of spirit. It lives in both our knowingness and our feeling. Consider that our brain cells and heart cells and the tangled mass of computery wetwork carefully encapsulated in our skulls is really just bouncing fairly weak electrochemical signals through neurons and glials and muscle and tissue based on a dizzying amount of external stimuli. Now, this material physiology somehow makes meaning out of these chaotic sparks and currents. I mean, that's just life. We are meaning-making machines. We are meaning-making machines. It's how we survived. We believe, and that helps us. It helps us find our tribe. It helps us set expectations and create replicable results. And because of that, creativity and storytelling is a kind of technology. I mean, in as much as it's a process that returns results favorably that we can predict. In fact, we might even say that it was the first technology. Because to make anything, to pull an idea out of the ephemeral and into the physical, well, I mean, for starters, you have to believe it's possible. This is where it all starts. Reality may just be all in your head. Because what we believe we can make, we usually do. We believe in something, and we contain that belief in a story. And, believe it or not, that story creates our reality. The story itself, made of phonemes and letters and ideas in the right combination, catalyzes energy in the direction of an emergent property, wherein nothing becomes something. We gently and consciously pull it across that membrane until it emerges into real life. What you are saying is that believing is seeing? Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. Believing is seeing. Let's do a little thought experiment. This comes from the philosopher Stephen West. He's got a beautiful podcast called Philosophize This. And in it he says, imagine you suddenly find yourself in a predicament, like say being chased by a ravenous bear. You probably can't outrun the bear. And while you're running, you see in front of you a chasm. Now, if you can leap the chasm, you'll be able to escape the clutches of the bear. If you don't believe you can make the jump, well, you won't try. And thus, escape is not one of the possibilities. This would be a bad day for you. I mean, it would be a less bad day for the bear, but it would certainly be a bad day for you. If you believed that a positive outcome was even remotely possible, and you took the jump and you made it, this positive outcome was only possible because you believed. Belief in the thing was non-trivial to it becoming real. Believing, in fact, was a condition of the reality manifesting. And as it is with every made thing around you, everything in your room, everything that surrounds you is made because someone believed it was possible. Here's how it was described to me when I was an animator at Disney during the second golden age of animation. Did I mention that? Yeah, I know that's a little bit of a flex. All right, let's head over to the drawing table and let me show you a little bit more about what I mean and how this was described to me by the veteran animators at Disney. Let's go over there. All right. It kind of goes like this. All right, I got my camera up there shooting down. I've got you over here checking me out. And then let's talk about how do we turn a thought into a thing, and how do we believe in what it is that we're doing. It goes like this. It starts here with the thought here. And then out here, you've got this thing. And we're going to make a plan to make something, and we're going to take these steps to get there. That seems pretty reasonable, right? Just taking some steps to get there. And then you get started, and what happens? Well, life happens. And you end up over here thinking, oh my God, I got to get back on track. And so you race over to get back on track, and you overshoot. And now you're kind of off the plan, just sort of ad hocing it, and you finish over here, zigging and zagging and ending short of where you intended, out of time and money and enthusiasm and friends. Does this sound a little familiar? This gap right in here, this gap is really damaging to the creative spirit, and it makes it harder to believe next time. Whatever you're creating, you need to believe that this thing is possible. You create more powerfully from feeling than any other thing in your life. That it's easier to get a consensus on how you want something to feel than it is on how you want something to look. Like, I might have a different thought of green than you. I might see it differently in my head. But chances are that we could both agree pretty clearly on what we want springtime to feel like. And let me ask you this. If you could change your story, if you could change this zigzag path, would it change your creative reality? Creating more perfectly might make a significant difference for not just you, but for your teams and your company and your industry and maybe even the world. Because you got to know that museum walls are filled with creations made by people just like you, who were able to make manifest what they felt was possible. Could you change your reality if you change your story? What if you let go of this zigzag story and you adopted a story that puts you in harmony with the creative forces of the universe, the cosmic powers of the infinite swirl of stars and galaxies, puts you in sync with the same energies that ground you to this very earthly plane, the energies that might make a cactus grow or a rose bloom? If you could change the story, and this is what they shared with us at Disney, you would look at your creative process not like this hopeful, frantic journey where you get better mostly on accident. You would look at your creative process in a way that allowed you to cultivate practices for getting better. Maybe even practices for excellence and mastery. And if you did, you'd look at your creative process like this. Your thoughts down here, your thing is here, and you go at it like this. That's how the universe do. Now, believing takes practice, and that's really why we're here. We are nothing if not an onion skin of practices on top of practices. This is how we create powerfully, by using practices for believing. How do you add bricks to this edifice of belief you're creating for yourself constantly? How do you take the ones out that no longer serve the structure of who you say you are in the world? I mean, this is not just believing in the tooth fairy or a particular mythos, but believing in yourself, believing in the power of your own creativity. Now, the best practice for belief, it's story. What stories do you tell about yourself, about your creative powers, about your opportunities to manifest what you desire in your life? Your stories matter. So next time we're going to dig a little bit deeper on this first universal law of creativity belief, and we're going to talk story. We're going to examine the power of creating your reality by creating your narratives and manifesting your creations and ultimately living your life as an epic tale. We've got lots of neat stuff to cover. Subscribe, make sure you don't miss any of it. And, if you have any comments or anything that you want to talk about, put them in the comments section. And again, don't forget to subscribe. All right, I'm Dave Zabosky, and this is the Divine Line. So is this.